Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, everyone, as I described, depending upon which upload came before this one, this might be the first one I throw up in the aftermath of my Kevin Samuels live stream. I left some meat on the bone, and I just wanted to revisit something. I think I got to this in the stream, and I've discussed this on other channels and other panels as well. And one of my major growth points from that whole thing was learning to do nice things. And I think that's something that during MIT Dallas, and even during, well, more so during MIT Dallas than our consultation with Kevin, was the importance of doing nice things for myself. And this was actually also discussed in No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover, which I read at least five to 10 years ago, but it didn't really take root, and I didn't really understand. But in that book, Dr. Robert Glover says that people need to see us as men treating ourselves well and treating ourselves nice, and people will treat us. People are more likely to treat us the way we treat ourselves, and people are more likely to have more respect for us if they see us treating ourselves like kings. In my live stream, I talked about the parable of the nag. So when we were in the boardroom, one of the first things that Kevin showed us was that clip from Django Unchained, where Jamie Foxx's character Django and Leo DiCaprio ride up to Leo DiCaprio's estate. I can't think of his name in the movie because I only saw bits and pieces of it, but Steven, played by Samuel Jackson, comes out and says, "Master, who's the nigga up on that nag? Who's the nigga up on that nag?" And the whole point of showing us that was that when you're holding yourself up high and you're doing good things for yourself and you are being the best version of yourself, some people are not going to like it. Some people are not going to understand it. It could be friends, peers, relatives, those kinds of things, but you have to continue to hold yourself up high and be your best self. You have to continue to be your best self and to have a high standard for yourself. And that's actually how that brunch where the majority of us got baptized by fire and eviscerated, that was one of the last things that Kevin told us, was that we as men need to raise our standards. So I'm saying that to say that based upon where I came from, I described my upbringing and what my formative years were like on Buffalo's east side. They were humble beginnings. Both my parents are frugal, and international travel, shopping at Macy's and Nordstrom Rack and Bloomingdale's and all these extravagant places and international travel and passports. We didn't do all that. So these are aspects, fine dining, eating at top tier, 5-star high-end restaurants. We didn't do all that. So that's something that as I became Dr. Dunbar, after I got conferred my degree, there were other things that were expected of me from my peers and from society in the dating arena, that there are things that come along with that title. That's what I'm trying to say. There are things that come along with that degree. And those are all things that I had to learn. And I told the story, I think it was on Roger's channel, BGS was up that day. I told the story of the woman I went out with here. I took her to Applebee's, I think, on our first meeting, and she told me she didn't like eating at chains. Well, in my family, eating at chains was fine. That in my social class, in my family, that was fine. Here in Washington, D.C., depending upon where you find yourself and which station you find yourself in. Some people find that unacceptable. And that's another thing. For a number of years here, as I was figuring out money, as I was figuring out how to get my retirement savings going, as I was figuring out how to get out of debt and into a more financially peaceful place, much of that time was spent paying off debt and doing the bare minimum and trying to build for the future. So that was a phase. But once I came out of that phase, I had to learn how to start doing nice things for myself. I told BGS in our Partners versus Wives live stream that prior to COVID-19, my family took a trip to Las Vegas and we stayed at the Mandalay Bay. Well, for those of you who don't know, I mean, it's further down on the southern part of the Strip. It's not down there with the Bellagio and the Wynn and Paris and those hotels and casinos. But the Mandalay Bay is a nice upper end hotel / casino. My cousin, who's probably the other 92 in the family, I believe she has a PhD as well, she set up that vacation. And for some of my relatives, the Mandalay Bay was a bit much. And there were complaints that weekend for staying at the Mandalay Bay. The food was too expensive. The accommodations were too expensive. I liked it. I liked the atmosphere. I liked the amenities. I liked the ambiance of the Mandalay Bay. So whenever I go back to Vegas, I may likely want to stay at the Mandalay Bay or something equivalent. But I'm saying this to say that for the majority of my family circle, the Mandalay Bay was a bit much. Going for fine dining, I can think of relatives who probably say $50 a plate is too much. $60 a plate is too much. We can just go someplace else. We don't have to spend all this money. So I'm saying that to say that that was one of my major learning points from that whole experience. MIT, Dallas, working with Kevin, and going back to the octane scale and going back to pursuing your education and trying to ascend in life and in your career. Once you reach certain levels, there are other things that come along with being a PhD, an Esquire, or a doctor of medicine, the president of a company, the owner of a business empire. There are other things and other expectations that come with that, such as treating yourself to nice things and being able to do nice things. Now, all of that being said, there's a balance there. As a financially minded individual, and with the household I came from and what I've learned about money, there's a balance. I'm never gonna send myself to the poorhouse, doing quote unquote nice things, and I'm never gonna overextend myself in terms of debt and completely trash my credit, trying to keep up with the Joneses. But that's how I will continue to approach things. While it's important to do these things, I'll never break the bank doing them. And one thing to keep in mind in this entire discussion is that when you're a professional and you haven't been left anything in terms of an estate and you're building everything up by yourself, much of this, if you're doing it smart, is stepwise, and you just have to make sure that you're doing these things in a smart way and treating yourself and enjoying the fruits of your labor, but not sending yourself to the poorhouse ultimately either. And some people are doing that. They're looking fabulous and they're on Instagram living their best lives, but they're charging all of that up And we know that at some point when you're living that way and you're borrowing to maintain a lifestyle and to show everyone that you're living your best life, the bill eventually comes due. And I've come too far and worked too hard to irresponsibly put myself back in the poorhouse and end up back on my mother's or my father's couch. And I've come too far to even have to reach back and ask them for help in way of money and resources and loans and those kinds of things. So there's a balance. So that's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.